starting to sing. Like, skateboarding isn't about landing tricks, and it's more about the therapeutic process of trying something over and over and slamming. I was thinking about how some people can go years without falling. They go to work, ride the T, go up the stairs, take the elevator, and never fall down and feel crash. But sometimes you get a really good fall, like one that you needed. It's kind of like the universe keeping you in check. A good fall isn't really a big deal. It's like losing a shirt button. You get over it and keep rolling because you've got important things to do. You're not going to let that ruin your day. Sometimes you have an audience, and it's a good thing when you land a trick, but when you fall in front of people, there's a really interesting thing going on. Like, you're worried that they're going to think you're really hurt, so you get up. When people see me fall, I get up because I don't want them to think I lack control. A bad fall hurts. It's like losing a loved one or cashing a relationship. Reminds me of the time I was skating my friends home just for fun because it was nice out that night, and I'm rolling up to this A-frame and I'm getting ready to turn to ollie backside, and I'm just thinking about what's in front of me and what's gonna happen, and I don't see this crack that my front wheels lodge into, and I just slam onto the ground and stay there for a minute. I didn't want to get up. It's like it was really close to an emotional pain, which I think kind of cuts deeper than the physical tolls that skateboarding takes on me. When you break your wrist, you can't skate, and you have this cast just reminding you of like what you once had, what you're missing out on. An ugly fall is kind of like seeing your mom cry. Me and my grandmother weren't close, and I knew she was dying when my mom flew out to California with her brother and sister to see her. My dad was in the hospital a few towns over before he got surgery, so it was just my mom, and she got the call that her mother had died. One night I was pushing back from a friend's house, and we'd been drinking, and it had rained while I was inside, and I hadn't really noticed. But I'm in front of the MFA pushing as fast as I can, just having a great time, like flying through the night. And I made a little backside turn, and the stone, it was so wet that I just slipped off and fell into Huntington, like over the grass divider, off the sidewalk, straight into the street. Luckily there were no cars, but I tore my hand up, and the only two people to see it were these two kids riding longboards in like pastel shorts, and I walk up to them holding my wrist and just like bleeding down my arm, and I'm holding my wrist and shaking around. They're just looking at me dumbfounded because they just saw me getting tossed into the street. And I just walk up to these guys and they're just looking at me. They haven't said anything, and I'm just like, my wrist isn't broken, so they must have thought I was like psychotic. But they helped me out. One of them was smoking a cigarette, and I like took it right out of his hand. That was an ugly fall. And an ugly fall is like seeing your mom cry. It makes you question the stability of your own life and situation, you know? Like, what's your role? well, since my dad wasn't there, I was consoling my mom when she got the call that grandmommy had died. That's like an ugly fall because you got tossed into the street near traffic and ripped up your hand and you're looking at it, but you kind of ignore it to keep going on. And you sort of block out the pain, and seeing your mom cry is like fucked up, but you still have to perform. You can't just like walk away. I felt guilty for not being terribly upset over my grandmother's death. The gravity of this situation for my mom was really heavy. My feelings toward it were non-existent. I don't remember what I told her, but I remember how I felt out of control seeing her cry. I would have rather been watching skate videos, smoking, or reading, but my dad not being there forced me to act like a parental figure, someone on the same level as my mother. It was clear that me being in that position made her uncomfortable too. Didn't know what to say, so I just hugged her. But after a little bit, she kind of pushed me off, said that I'm her son and I'm not supposed to be dealing with her like that. I'm her son and it's not my responsibility. Like, she's supposed to be the one consoling me when I'm crying. But it really should go both ways, especially since I was in a less vulnerable position than her in regard to the death.